Hello, and welcome to the Thrive Mindset Podcast. I am so glad you are here with me. My name is Carrie Dahle, and I am your host. I am an entrepreneur, author, podcaster, manifester, and motivator. And I am on a mission to empower you to create the life of your dreams. If you are looking to up-level your life, relationships, finances, productivity, and success, you have come to the right place. I will share with you tools, resources, strategies, my failures, and my successes that have all helped me achieve the life of my dreams. It is my goal with this podcast to help you see your potential and empower you to create the life of your dreams. So let's get to it. Welcome to the Thrive Mindset Podcast. Today, I have Libby Miller with me, and she is with the Wellness Mind and Body and Spirit. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you. Why don't we start with your story?
Sure. So Carrie and I know each other from growing up in Ashland, Oregon, and we've lived here in Nashville, outside of Nashville, about 20 years. And originally, I was a benefits broker, and I helped clients do enrollment meetings and wellness programs with a team of professionals. And then we adopted 2 children out of state's custody that were in foster care. And with that, we found ourselves in need of a lot of options, healthy options for healthcare solutions. And so I ended up quitting my job, and I was helping them navigate genetic disorders and mental health disorders. And then through all that, I ended up really starting. A friend of mine called during COVID. She's like, why aren't you doing this as a business? And so I started out with just utilizing Dotera, which is, if you're not familiar, it's an essential oil primary company, but they've branched out and done all kinds of supplements and toxic-free living on a debt-free platform. So they're a debt-free company, and then included 2 different types of biofeedback with that to help clients really utilize other pathways, to save money, to be healthier, and to live their best life.
I love that. I love it. Your story is so great. Tell me what changes you made and how it was important to your family and what it did for you guys.
So our little guy has MTHFR, which is a genetic disorder, which is fairly common. I have a couple of friends that have different variances, and so they aren't able to detox, or they hold heavy metals, had difficulty getting pregnant. And so we found that he specifically was really, really sensitive to food additives and food dye, especially red dye. And you can Google it. It's called red rage, even though there's not a allergen test for it. You can do your own trial and error, but it really impacts his mood and his ability to make good decisions. Mm-hmm. And so we just started eliminating simple things like food dyes, BHT, which is a preservative. So if you have any like goldfish and they've sprayed that aluminum bag, it's a preservative and it's commonly used, but it actually impacts your neuro system. We eliminated corn syrup and artificial sweeteners, and we've gone now to where our diet is almost all organic. We're buying as much local as we can, local meats, local produce. This year we're doing a full garden. We just started eliminating stuff and started really slow. And as we expanded our knowledge base, we expanded that into our home. Things like laundry detergent, which has a lot of disruptors, hormone disruptors, artificial fragrances, cleaning products, dryer sheets, ironically, are one of the most toxic things in a household. We have just worked our way through all that. And now we still have tweaks. Like sometimes I find myself using a plastic bag where I've tried to really eliminate single-use plastics in our home. So yeah. So it's definitely a journey because it's hard to do it all at once. For one, it's really expensive to switch if you're eating a typical American diet to go all organic and more whole food. But that also takes a lot more effort and prep.
For sure. So you've definitely seen changes in your son based on eating differently and keeping certain additives away from him. What about with you and your husband? Has it changed things for you?
Yes. So we did the whole family. I noticed I feel better I had really severe allergies when we moved to Nashville. Kind of everything moves west to east in terms of pollen and stuff. And so I have had my own transition too. I've eliminated shampoos and conditioners, body washes, fragrances with all those synthetics. So I know they have an impact on my endocrine system, my hormones, just all kinds of different ways that I haven't even thought of, I'm sure.
Has your husband noticed anything different for himself?
Well, he did not take supplements before, and now he takes the Dotera line, and he is 10 years older. So he now, and he's a pilot like your husband. So he has a lot of radiation exposure. He's a runner, so his knees are kind of crickety, and he doesn't have any problems anymore. And he's able to negotiate multiple time zones and feel good and have energy. And so I think that's all you can ask for, is to be able to have the energy to meet whatever daily demands and deal with the stressors that are thrown at you.
Yeah, I think that's great. What about your other son?
So he's actually an adult. And so we didn't get him till he was 11. And so he had a much harder time with the changes that we made, and he gave us a lot of pushback. He has incorporated some things, but as an adult, he obviously does what he wants. So he's not quite as strict as we are with our protocols. Yeah.
That's the way it goes. We can only do what we can do, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And every day, there are some days when I find myself, like if we travel and we're driving, like to Oregon or whatever, and there's nothing out there, right, but a fast food or a mom and pop. And so we just try to make the best choices that are available to us at that given time. And sometimes, it might be Chick-fil-A or, whatever comes up, just because that's our only option.
Yeah. I mean, you have to live your life, right? You can't, unfortunately, I mean, that's just the way it goes, especially when you're traveling. That can be challenging. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And also depending, like we talked, on where you live in the world and what's accessible.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and it's funny because when we moved here to Mount Juliet, which is outside of Nashville, most of the shopping that's here now didn't exist when we moved here. And so we had one gas station, a McDonald's, like a meat and three, which is, Southern cooking. And so you didn't have options.
So I can't remember what you called it, but I remember there was a test or there was an instrument or something that you used in your home.
The the quantum biofeedback?
Yes. So tell me about that.
Sure. So the technology's not new. Originally it came from another country, and the company acquired this technology to bring to the US and modify and enhance it. And so the machine originally started out almost like the size of a dining table, and now is consolidated down to a tablet form. And so because technology changes so fast, the enhancements. And so now I find myself being able to be portable with that tablet and take it to people all over our community. But the scanner works in frequency, resonance, and vibration, because everything in the world has an energy, if you will, a fingerprint. And so it's able to bring harmony back to things that aren't in balance and work with chakras and meridians, identify toxins, so many things that people struggle with every day, and also give you back a harmonic file to use as grounding and balancing. So it's a very complex machinery.
That's actually really cool. You don't really think of a machine being able to find those kind of things, right? I mean, that seems more individual and more like a person would have to do that.
Right. And it's interesting because EKGs work on those same frequencies. MRI is able to target different tissues based on their fingerprint, if you will. So it's amazing that technology has come so far, but it's like two tuning forks. And as you bring the machine to your body, it's able to tune like a tuning fork would, but with so much more complexity.
Yeah. So then you're able just to adjust the things in your life to become more in tune, right?
And the things that aren't able to change for a better, you can identify those without having invasive procedures or blood draws, and then bring them to your practitioner when you realize that those things aren't improving. And so it eliminates some of the guesswork and hopefully improves your quality of life overall on a regular basis.
Can you give like an example?
Sure. Like maybe it's a food allergen. So maybe you have food sensitivities, but maybe it's corn, for example, and it's continually showing that it's an increase in inflammation. So if it doesn't change on your report over time, you could go take it to an allergist and see and have it tested to confirm and see what the strength of that, if it's anaphylactic or if it's just a sensitivity. And hopefully you would know if you're eating corn, it's anaphylactic, if it's a very serious one. Sometimes people blow off GI issues and other where they just don't realize it's what they're putting in their body is causing some of those disruptions. It's a great tool to be able to help. And the machine you can use on kids, which my 12-year-old absolutely hates needles. It was a really great non-invasive tool to use for him. I mean, you can use it on your pets, horses, cats, to help with like pain, other issues that you might be having. So your pets. So it's a great tool.
Wow. Okay. So if somebody's not near you, how do they access?
So great question. So, for example, the inner voice scan, which really works with emotions. So that's really your emotional scan. Someone can leave me a message and repeat what the message is that you need to tell the machine, and I can play it and actually link you remotely to the scanner and do a session. So you don't necessarily have to live in my community for me to be able to help you.
That's awesome.
Yes, it is.
The things that COVID has brought around for us, right? Everything from a distance.
Right. And it's interesting because I find myself like doing chakra work or energy work. Just when I get up in the morning, I will play my harmonic file or do something that really impacts and grounds me for the day. And then you can also load your supplements because all supplements have a frequency. It's really targeted work that you just can't find other places, I don't think.
Yeah, that's awesome. You talked about doing that in the morning. I'm curious because so many people have a morning routine. What else?
Yes.
What else do you have for your morning routine? I mean, obviously you do that, but.
So I think primary is I take supplements, Dotera supplements specifically, but when I get up in the morning after I make my first cup of coffee, so I always have, and I do mushroom coffee mostly now, which helps with brain cognitive and energy. But with that, I always take my supplements. And so really just adding on to my morning routine, I set it out for my daily routine. I take my multivitamin, my omegas, my whole food, and then I take a collagen that's marine based. And that really kind of sets the platform for my day and my intention. And then I try to listen to my file or go out and sit and listen to the birds if it's nice here in the South. Just nature is really soothing, I think, and helps allow people to clear their mind.
Mm-hmm. I love that. All of that. Yeah. That's so good. So tell me more about Dotera.
So for those who aren't familiar with it, it's a 15-year-old company based out of Utah. And they originally started, some of the executives were at another company and they weren't really happy how things were going. And so they left and started their own company. And Dotera means the gifts of the earth. And so they did have offers for investors and didn't want to give up control of the company. And so they mortgaged their homes to start the company, which is pretty amazing. And so they're still a debt-free company and there's no outside investors. And they are the largest essential oil company in the world. Their platform is a little bit different. So rather than having someone else sell them a batch of oils where they don't necessarily know the quality or like a wholesale, they actually work with the growers all over the world, like Haiti. For example, turmeric comes from Haiti and India. They will work with the families to make sure they have clean water, schools, whatever it is their community needs so that their growers are taken care of and they're paid a fair wage. So it allows them to give back to other people in their own community while they earn a larger wage. So it's all about giving wherever they source a product. They do that kind of work. And they built a nonprofit hospital in Somaliland. Even in the West Coast, which is, of course, where we're from, they bought crime labs, mobile crime labs for human trafficking. And so they gave those to the departments in Portland and other communities to be able to process lab kits right there on site. So people are prosecuted faster, and it just all around is amazing. And they do trauma kits. For example, if recently we had tornadoes in Alabama and Louisiana and Tennessee, so they'll send a little kit so that people can take a shower, brush their teeth, have a towel, and some basic needs taken care of while they're trying to figure out everything else. And so they do that no matter where you are in the world. It's amazing. So, and they also built a hospital for mental health juvenile in Salt Lake, because mental health is the second largest crisis in our country besides metabolic health.
I think that's amazing that a company cares that much.
Right. Yes. It's a totally different way of looking at it. And as a wellness advocate, they have a wonderful pay structure. They're all about education and taking care of people, also to be debt free, but to make sure that we can take care of other people in our communities.
So for those that don't know what essential oils are, do you want to share a little bit about what that is?
So my husband originally called it voodoo medicine, which is hilarious because, growing up on the West Coast versus where we live now, the South is maybe not as progressive as some of the other coastlines. So essential oils are a volatile-based aromatic. And so because they're fat-based, they're not actually, for example, the lemon is cold pressed. So they're taking the rind, puncturing it, washing out the oils. And so it's not acidic, but it's oil-based. And so your skin and cells actually absorb that versus traditional medicine where they're covering up the symptom or the illness. Essential oils actually absorb into the cell. It's way effective, super potent, less expensive, and helps heal your body versus cover up things. Like frankincense actually can pass blood-brain barrier to help with neuro issues like certain types of seizures. So very, very powerful. And Dotera tests theirs 3 times. They have an outside lab test for purity. So for example, our lavender has less than 1% deviation at the molecule level over a 5-year span because they're committed to quality.
See, it's not just for smelling good.
No, not just for aroma. And you can definitely use it. So if you're looking to replace, some of those toxic plugins or room sprays, essential oils are a great fit for that because you can also support your immunity, respiratory, and aromatics from essential oils impact your mood 70% faster than anything you can take internally. So it's a really great way to help boost your mood.
If somebody wanted to dabble in it and just kind of see what it does, where would you start?
Well, absolutely reach out to me, or if you have someone in your life that is a wellness advocate, reach out to them. And you, if there's something that you're trying to target, for example, let's say sleep, I definitely would share a sample with you at no cost. And then if you are interested in purchasing an oil, you can do that without doing an enrollment fee. So they've gone away to help people during this kind of economic difficulty. And so there's no enrollment fee, even just to buy one oil. And so they really want to be able to help no matter where you are.
That's awesome.
Yes.
We had this conversation, you and I, about collagen, because I also take marine-based collagen, and I know you do as well, but I would love to hear more about your experience with that.
Dotera launched their metabolic line called MetaPower in September of last year. And before that, probably like most people, I didn't know a ton about collagen. I knew that it had impact on my skin, right? Everyone wants to look their best, youthful appearance, but I didn't really know any nuts and bolts about it. And so when they launched their product, they came out with MetaPower Advantage, which is the collagen that Carrie's talking about. And our collagen is marine based, so it comes from fish versus cow or swine, and it's sustainably sourced. And ours includes nicotinamide monoglutide. That's a long science word for MNN. And that helps with boosting NAD+, which helps with youthful cells. And so why that's so important, and it took me a long time to learn about this, but it basically helps reduce and reverse aging when you take it the right way. And so there's a bunch of MNN on the market that's synthetic, and it's not created equal to a naturally sourced MNN. And there's plenty of research out there on this molecule, one of which is Tony Robbins has a great book out, and it's life force. And he talks about finding MNN and that his family now takes it. And some of the doctors he mentions take it. And they're taking the synthetic, I think, in his book. Dotera has been able to isolate a natural sourced MNN. And so that is helping your body absorb it really quickly. It accepts it naturally and then actually changes your cells, which is super amazing. You don't add it to heat because heat damages the proteins. So this collagen has 9 different peptides, which I know most of you take, a collagen, but it has maybe 3 to 5 peptides. So it's a really broad band to help cognitive function, connective tissue, aging, skin. And so it also has hyaluronic acid and vitamin C, which helps support cellular function. So it's really addressing things that the traditional collagen can't address. And so it's really a game changer in the marketplace. And then with that, they came out with a soft gel that helps carb and sugar absorption. And so it changes your sugar spike, right? Which when you eat sugar, it changes your glycemic index and your glucose to a slow roll, all with natural supplements and essential oils. So it's great because our current largest disaster in this country is metabolic disease, or diabetes and weight gain and all the things that come with that. I'm really excited. And I take the collagen every day. So does my husband. And just to give you an example, how amazing this is about 10 years ago, I had a pituitary tumor and I found it because I was out pulling trees and my arm kept going numb. And so we thought it was just a pinched nerve, but come to find out I had a pituitary tumor and I ended up getting it removed. And then I had a second procedure where I had Gamma Knife and it impacted. So I had no pituitary whatsoever anymore. And so I was always struggling with energy. And I would want to take a nap every single day. And so since I've started the MetaPower Advantage, I no longer have to take a nap. So It has totally changed my life completely.
I can only imagine how much your hair grows, your nails grow, your skin. I mean, because I just know my own experiences with collagen.
Yes. Yeah. So, I mean, you'll see a change about day 15 taking the collagen in your skin. And my hair is super long, even though I get it cut a couple times a year. So I've seen all those changes for sure. But what I love is that I have energy and I'm able to go do pretty much whatever I want. And that's the key is meeting you at where you're at and giving you the energy and having the beauty benefits on the side.
Yeah. It's all good.
Right? Yeah.
Have we missed something? Is there anything that you think is important that we should talk about?
I think I just would convey that people who are looking to make changes, that they check out Dotera's products because they are tested and they are clean and they're committed to clean sourcing and clean products, eliminating a lot of the chemicals that people use in their everyday life. I think there are some really other great products too, like if you're looking for beauty, because they don't do makeup, there are other companies that do clean sourcing and good clean products for makeup. And then, you can go down rabbit holes for, cooking oil and other household items that you use in your home. And so there's definitely research out there now that, when we grew up, there was no research and people weren't aware of what's going on in our food supply. And I just encourage people to really look at that. And it doesn't have to cost you an arm and a leg to make changes, like swapping out your single-use plastic and using a metal or glass container benefits the environment, but also benefits you because those plastics degrade over time and you're eating them and consuming them. And so those are really easy things that you can do. And you definitely can share other ones, but that's a really easy one is eliminate the single-use plastics.
I try to use glass anytime. Anything. Yeah. I mean, I hate getting food that's in plastic.
Well, and I don't know if you've ever noticed, but the water tastes like plastic after, and so why drink that? You don't need to, and I know especially the West Coast has refill stations. Most of the airports have refill stations. So there's no need that it costs your family money to buy single-use plastics. So it's just, to me, it's a win-win. I think that's an easy one that's not real difficult. And then I think the second thing is sleep hygiene. People really struggle. We're a very sleep-deprived country because a lot of screen technology, people are watching TV in bed or playing on their phones. And I think getting a really good night's sleep is really, really important. And it sets the platform for so many hormones, but also your day, your next day, right? And so eliminating TVs in your bedroom, putting your phone away 30 minutes before, trying to go to bed at the same time and wake up at the same time. There's definitely ways to help with that. And if you're struggling with sleep or hormones, then, there are alternates that besides taking hormone replacements that impact other things in your body.
Yeah. Where can people find you?
I have a webpage. It's wellnessmindbodyspirit.com. And the same for Instagram and Facebook. And I would love to be able to help anyone who's looking to start their journey.
I love that. Thank you, Libby. Thank you for coming. Thank you for chatting with me today. I know I'll be chatting to you more later, but thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks so much for having me.
What a fun conversation with Libby today. So excited that she joined me. I'm so excited that she was willing to share her journey and her path with wellness. And I hope that you all got something out of it. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to her. I will put all of her contact information in the comments below. And I think she had some great tips, some great ideas. And again, I hope that you're enjoying this podcast. And if you are, please like, share, comment. I appreciate all of your support. And above all else, remember that I believe in you and you can manifest the life of your dreams.